Welcome to Fearless. I'm Jolie,
I'm Claire.
and we are
Fearless.
Fearless.
Yay.
Episode one.
Okay. Yay. Episode 1. And as you guys can tell, we are not well rehearsed at this yet. So everybody bear with us. Today we are going to talk about fears as kind of the irony of being fearless. Because Jolie and I are so weird and are not afraid of so many things, but there are some things that we are that maybe are not as normal as other people. So what were your first fears? Did you have one?
So my fear that right now is that doing this video. That was my fear.
What was it? I love that. That's a valid fear. What was it that made you freaked out about this?
Freaked out was that people would think that I was stupid and ugly. Those that was my fear of doing this podcast and doing it alone, because we've been talking about doing this, having me do a podcast by myself for about a month now.
Yeah, at
And
least.
yeah, and I've been putting it off and finally talked to you, and
Let me adjust my curve. Keep
um
going.
I was telling you that, hey, I'm super nervous and afraid of doing this podcast. And you told me, thank you for telling me that, because you said that you thought it was because of you.
Yeah, what my fear, right, is self-worthiness. Are they mad at me? My
Yeah,
friends like me?
yeah, and me
Am I good
voicing my,
enough?
which you are, and I'm and you're so tech savvy and um, got on doing everything and setting up the YouTube channel and what else, the PayPal and all of that stuff. And you had,
Patreon, yeah. By the way, patreon.com/fearless Jolie if you guys want to support the channel. There we go. Free plug. There we go.
So you had set that all up for me, but I was so scared to do it. And when I talked to you, you came back to me a couple days later, and you're like, "How about we do it together?" And
Okay.
that was such a relief to me to have my friend do something with me, and that helped my fear. That
Do you
eased it.
think, yeah, do you think that it's easy? I mean, it's probably just something like ingrained in us from even like elementary school age because like there's just there's strength in numbers basically, but also like just it's easier to look like an asshole if there's two of you doing it.
It's always, yes, it's always better to
I
have
mean,
a
it
partner in
is, right? It's
crime.
like, yeah. No, we don't look like assholes. Come join the
Yes.
cool group.
Yeah, and a
Yeah,
partner in crime, somebody to bounce ideas
totally.
off of too, and not just me being here stuck by myself.
Well, yeah, and scarier just to be talking to, like, it feels less organic when you're talking to a camera by yourself too without anybody's feedback. Like I look at some of the people that do that and I'm like, how do you feel normal? Like you're holding your camera, they're going, so yeah, that makes sense to me. That's a big one. What else? So feeling stupid, not looking beautiful is just like unrealistic for you, but feel your feels, girl.
well, yeah, I talked to my counselor uh, on Thursday about this, and told him about, my fear, and he's like, "Well, what are you afraid of?" And I told him, um, not feeling like people weren't going to think that I was smart, not feeling smart, and being ugly. And he's like, "So what you're saying
Those
is that
things
you're."
are so silly, but carry on.
Yeah, yeah, but he's like, "So what you're saying is you're stupid and ugly," and I'm like, "Oh, well, no," but And
Don't talk about me like that.
I love him. He's amazing and blunt, and that's exactly
No,
the
that's
kind
a great counselor.
of
That's somebody
great
who's
counselor.
reflecting back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, but and he was telling me, he's like, there's a study where they have all these doctors, super surgeons, super successful, and they go to the seminar and write down these, things that you're good at and things that you're not. And he's like, they just have pages of stuff that they're not good at. Like
Yeah.
I'm a bad husband. I have a small penis.
Have
Uh,
terrible handwriting. I'm a surgeon.
right. And I thought I was smart, but Joe and Bob and Smith, they're so smarter than me, so maybe I'm not smart. And then they just have these like only a couple of like what I'm
What
good
they
at.
feel
So
super strong in.
yeah, and he's like, so it's everybody, not just not your average person. It's these also successful, amazing people too that have these fears too. So
Hmm.
these fears are valid, but here we are
But
overcoming
not based in
them.
reality. And here we are. Yay.
Yeah.
Overcoming fears. Yay, yay, yay.
Yes.
I
So
love it so much. Yeah, I was trying to think of what freaked like normal people out and what freaks me out. And I feel like normal, we'll put that in quotes, right? The average bear. It's so many of those like don't apply to us, like jumping out of airplanes or
hmm
off tall things. Um, most of the time, looking like an asshole doesn't bother either of us.
No.
But
No.
maybe it's not on such a grand stage, right? Or the possibility. Right now, we're at 0 subscribers, so we're pretty safe. But um, on a if this were to go big, and if this were to be something successful, to have everyone's eyes looking at you, and this is such a personal thing. This isn't like rehearsed, and so this is just us two friends talking about some really personal stuff, and so it's a lot more exposing. And I was thinking about what would upset me or what I'd be afraid of. And honestly, I was thinking I'm pretty tough. And then like that's a total lie. No. I'm a huge wimp, and like especially with mean words, because still at 40 years old I'm shocked when people are needlessly cruel to me. Like truly taken aback.
Oh yeah.
Needlessly cruel people I'm afraid of, because they're unpredictable, because my like people pleaser brain goes into a place of make everybody feel okay in this situation, make everybody's feelings okay, make everybody's hearts okay, make sure everybody feels emotionally healed. Like I feel like that's like who I am as a person. So someone who is needlessly cruel and attacks. So my fear about doing this was mean comments. I was like, I know that I can get 1,000 good reviews on something, and that one mean thing will not only stick in my mind for weeks, but it will be months and years to come. I will remember the one mean thing. I will not remember a single kind word.
True.
Maybe one kind word. Maybe I'll remember them, but they seem flippantly given, and so then I'm like, it's the negatives that stick with me. I think that's also like something about you and I about being harsh critics, but those are like fears for me. And I'm like, well, what does that do? People say mean shit just cuz.
They do.
They never think about it again.
Yeah, it never crosses their mind again. Whereas
No.
saying it to them is nothing, but hearing it is everything.
Everything. Yeah. And so, I
It's
mean, like, what would it do to us at 40 and whatever years old? Like, what would that, what world does that affect you? Like in your
yeah,
actual day to day? Nothing. But it would
nothing.
affect us both deeply. So,
Right. And,
just shock
yeah,
and terror.
and that's I hope people are kind and try to keep their mean comments to themselves. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say
We're going to turn
anything.
the fucking comments off.
Yes.
That's how this is going to go.
because
If you have
I
nothing
think
nice to say, we're turning the comments off. That's how this is going.
yes.
I think we both expressed ourselves clearly here. I love it. As for like what your counselor was saying though too, and about like self-talk and that affecting you, like, do you think that you, I mean, we were kind of joking afterwards about like, oh, how dare you say that about me? But does any part of you feel like after you hear yourself say like, I'm not beautiful, or I might not be smart, or any of those things, do you feel personally like, oh wait, no, do you feel yourself self-correcting, or do you feel like that's more true?
I feel myself more self-correcting because too I would never say that to anybody because I wouldn't want
No,
to hurt anybody, and there's no way that those words would come out of my mouth.
no.
So why would I say those things to me? And
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I'm not stupid. I'm always trying new things. I'm not book smart, but I definitely am smarter in other ways. Not very savvy with my words, but
I so disagree. I think you're smart and you're funny as fuck. And I think that part of like those things, those narratives we tell ourselves, like, I'm not book smart, or like that little, we put ourselves in these boxes, right? Jolie, is there anything in your life that you have set out to do that you haven't done?
no.
Is there any test in your life when you went to get licensed to do something that you failed at?
No. I may not. I don't.
What
Definitely
book are you talking about? What book is this that you're not smart at? Which one?
That definitely no. I'm not. I guess it's because hey, I passed. Okay, I didn't have the highest score, but I do pass.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
do.
whoa, whoa. Nobody except fifth graders look at your percentage scores. Nobody asks you, did you get an A or a C on something?
Did you
Pass.
pass?
Did you pass? That's all that matters.
I know, but I think
The rest
uh,
is fluff for your ego.
well, and I
Like
think
the
that's society
grades.
too, is like you have to get A's, A's, A's. But in real life, I don't know. With me, no, I passed. I freaking went through it and I passed. So that's it. It should
Yeah, and
be.
that is it, and that is successful. I feel like everything past that is for like saying you're at the top of your class, or you were valedictorian, or whatever
It's
those things are that
amazing.
we, yeah, very, very, very impressive, right? But like not actually like based in reality or super crazy important like to us, like past that grade, past grade school or even high school, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you
yes.
kind of drop that in
Yeah,
college too. You're like, did I pass? Cool. I got the credits, moving on. Fuck
yes,
that. I'm
yeah,
never
yeah,
doing that again. Whatever, mythology. Thanks, Greek
yeah.
mythology. Gonna use you twice more in my life. Awesome.
Yeah,
I actually,
I
now
think
that I say that, just told Misty the story of Narcissus, like the actual Narcissus. And I was like, oh my God. Like I was feeling myself that day. I was like, you remembered that from college mythology. Amen. 5 gold
it's
stars.
stuck.
It's stuck. I remember about the narcissistic guy who fell in love with his own reflection.
That's
Amazing that I remembered that one.
maybe because we've also dealt with it in our
Yeah.
life.
You think? Yeah. That was I think that was it. Yeah. Which I guess so. When I was thinking about my own fears, and I guess that's like, I was watching something last night and I was like, oh, that is my fear, which is funny because of what we're doing now. So my fear is not being able to communicate. My biggest fear,
Okay.
not being able to communicate.
I I don't is it not being able to communicate or not being understood? Because you can communicate.
Yeah. Both, not being like seen, heard, I guess like everything that falls under that category, right? Like, so not being able to communicate. Like, I was watching something where like there was a nonverbal, like a guy who was in a wheelchair that he used to be able to communicate. He had a stroke and he couldn't vocalize words anymore. And I was like, that's my nightmare. Like, that's my fear. Like, having a completely active, beautiful, incredible brain and no way to say what I needed to say or like to communicate my feelings. So, but it's just as bad, right? Like, being able to have the words and looking at people around you who are incapable of hearing them, seeing you, understanding you, that it's just the same thing. Same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Like even though he can verbally communicate, even if people can hear you, they still don't understand you.
Yeah. That's a big fear. I mean, I felt like that when I traveled a lot. And moving to South America, I remember sitting in Buenos Aires, like surrounded by, 12 million people, however many people live there, and not being able to speak the language and feeling utterly alone in one of the biggest cities in the world and being like, this is a unique feeling, right? I'm surrounded by young, beautiful people. I was in my 20s. I should have been able to communicate with everyone around me, but because I didn't speak the language, I was alone. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's the root of that fear, right? It's more being alone, that not being able to be seen, be heard, be understood. Those are big fears. And what that means, like, would it be ruinous? Like, I think I'm like you, we're pretty self-entertained people. We can fill the space, right? Like,
Yeah.
but whether or not, what do you think, is that relate to any of your fears?
Not being understood, not
Yeah,
um
or not being able to communicate, not being seen, heard. Or are
oh
you
yeah,
not afraid of that?
absolutely. No, absolutely. Like even, being in a marriage and losing that not being seen and heard,
Mm,
that that was rough. And so yeah, that's a fear. I don't want to um go through
yeah.
that again with uh
Any
and
future
friends,
partners?
and any partners, even friends. Like yeah, even friends,
It's so
they
much worse when it's your girlfriend.
yeah.
It's,
So
I
much.
feel like that's backwards sexist of me to say, but totally, like, I'm like, when a man derps out, I'm like, yeah, your brain's not there. So, like, it's not your fault.
It's not
The
your fault. It's not
penis.
your fault. You're going through
It's the
through
penis.
through a midlife crisis. It's
It
not your
got in your way.
fault.
We
Yes.
get it. Like, but one of my girlfriends, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I said words. You don't,
Yeah.
what happened? If
Well,
girlfriends don't like connect with me and I feel like, I'm like, you didn't understand me? Like, shock, surprise. Like, it's more hurtful to me if I'm not seen and heard by my girlfriends. But yeah, a partner equally is hurtful too. Yeah.
yeah. I think,
Hmm.
well, and I think sometimes, like with the girlfriends, I think maybe that's you're, I don't know, on different paths at that time. If you're keep having those, trying to have conversations and you're not getting each other.
Flowing,
Yeah, you're not flowing. Then it's, you know,
awkward.
yeah, awkward and like that chapter of that friendship has maybe passed and you're on different vibes and different paths now. And
Do you think that there's a fear that you have overcome just with like getting older? Because that's like definitely one of mine. Like, I used to be, I know you've never been afraid of awkwardness. Like, you've
yeah.
always leaned in hard to like awkward moments. Whereas I'm like, I'm such a dork that I know I've been at parties and I'm like, okay. Like,
No,
Like, I can feel the heat rising to my cheeks. Look at my Irish reaction. Like, it just, like, just the thought of being awkward made my cheeks blush. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it's
I
so,
always
like,
liked,
that's it.
I enjoyed, those didn't scare
You
me. Going
thrive
to,
in awkward
yeah,
moments. Yeah.
yeah, I feel. And being around people I don't know doesn't bother me. I'll go talk to anybody and everybody. So
Yeah.
I don't mind looking like a dork in those situations, I guess. Because
I
we're
don't
all
think, yeah, I don't know if it was looking outwardly like a dork for me. It was more like,
not
I'm
looking like a dork.
embarrassed for you people. I'm such an empath that I can feel how you have just fucked up that situation. And I now feel it in my bones. And I am awkward for you. Like, that is like, ah, like, I heard you say that. I feel it. Don't say it anymore. You know, like, oh my God, stop it.
See, and I like those when people make
I know you
awkward.
do.
I do because I'm like, oh,
Fucking weirdo.
they're freaking human. That's what we're supposed to do. Go
Yes,
ahead.
but relishing in that is like, that is such a unique quality. You're so blessed in that way.
Yeah, I do. I'm thankful that I have that where I'm
Yeah.
very, we're all human. We're all gonna say stupid things and do stupid things. And I think that's what is enjoyable. The unperfect. I
Yeah.
like,
A
um,
quick outtake for anybody who does listen to this is that I remember Jolie telling me once not to tell a friend that she had toilet paper coming off of her shoe because that was the shit you could use against them for the rest of your life. You tell strangers, but you never tell a friend. You never tell a friend.
I love that.
Yeah. That was one of my earliest memories of you, Jolie. And I was like, wow, ruthless. Ruthless. You check every part of your body before you go out in public with this girl.
I
Check
would.
my mouth, my eyes, what's hanging off of me, check, because she is not going to fucking tell you. She is
I
going to
would not.
laugh near you.
And not so you could see me, so you didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so everybody else would laugh.
I
did.
deeply appreciate that about you, though, because it's a joy in life, and it's never at someone else's, like, to hurt someone. It's always just at
Not to
the
her.
joy of flawed humanity.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy
Yeah,
that about you.
because
If it was
there.
ever cruel, I would hate it about you, but I don't think it's
No.
cruel. I think it's just your joy at life.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't to hurt anybody, and nobody's feelings are getting hurt. But yeah,
No.
there was a lady that came out of the movie bathroom one time, and she had the hat, the what are those things called? The hat that goes around the toilet, the
Oh,
protector,
God.
and it was
I like that
stuck
you
out
call
of
it a
her.
hat. I've never heard it called that before. That
Yeah,
is
I
a little
can't
hat.
remember.
Like a toilet seat protector. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
like
it
that
was
you called it a hat, though. A toilet hat.
toilet hat.
Little potty hat. Little potty cap.
So she had it stuck in her up in her dress, and I was like, just
That is huge.
yeah.
How
I
do
was
you
like,
not
oh,
notice
let
that?
me take that for you. She's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I was like, you're lucky we're not friends because if you're my friend,
I would have just let you fuck this up for yourself. Yeah.
But yes, like strangers, I would not let that happen. But my friends, oh yes.
I mean, and that's something that you don't have either is like if you had walked out with that thing attached to you, right? Little
Yeah.
little potty cap. If you had walked out with that thing attached to you and we had all laughed at you, you would not have been embarrassed. You would have laughed at yourself and probably thrown it at our head. Like, fuck you. Now you have my pee germs on your face. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Like
This stuff happens. That's why. It's
So that
like
is not one of your fears. Is like
no.
looking locally, looking stupid is fine.
Yes. Looking stupid is not
Locally.
it's
Yeah.
not my fear. I I I am okay with that. But yeah, just fear the my fear is that people listening to me and thinking that, oh, she's stupid, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But I gotta get over that fear.
Who
And
the fuck does?
right.
Let me put that out there. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck knows what they're talking about? I would really like to know these people. Like, I I know obviously there's like professionals and experts in their fields, right?
Yeah.
But like most of us, when we get to like let's just say past 30, we kind of like pick up knowledge like who we're surrounded by, right? Like our friends, our family, job experience, like life experience, the stupid men we date, all of the like, like all of this, we're like little sponges, right? So like unless you're going to school for a doctorate, and then like even the doctors you were saying from that,
Yeah.
like even those, they're so specific on their knowledge. Their field of knowledge is like here, right? And
Yeah.
so like I feel like I am by nature a super curious person,
Oh, you
as
are.
you know. Like, and so I go down rabbit holes. So I have pointless amounts of knowledge, pointless
Love it. I love
amounts
it.
of knowledge in certain like avenues, right? But then like that's where that ends. I spent like 6 months researching how to make the perfect pizza crust.
And I love that. I love that
Yeah.
you did that.
I mastered it and moved the fuck on. Now, like, I do not remember that recipe. I have it written down somewhere. But I was like, okay, done. Moving on. Now North Korea. Like, like seriously, like that's my brain. It's weird. But
It's not
like
weird. It's magical. I love your brain, and I love all the stuff that you do. I do this like the silk
silk
what were you doing?
painting.
Silk
Yeah.
painting,
Yeah.
horse training,
Shibori.
like photography.
Yeah.
Gosh, what are all the things that you have tried? Like,
Yeah. Lots of weird ass shit.
yes, and I and I love that, and that's what I and about our friend group too is how just amazing they are, and so willing to try things and being fearless,
Yeah.
um and not afraid to fail, and which
Yes.
a lot of people are so afraid to fail, and so they don't even try, which is failure. um
Yes. And you and I have talked a lot about that, about not being afraid in that way. Like you and I have always been like, I mean, what was it? I heard somebody describe this recently and I was like, oh yeah, that's accurate. It was motivated, enthusiastic, and stupidly naive. That's like the way to attack life, right? And I was like, yeah, that's how I've done most things in my life. Super
yeah.
enthusiastic, motivated, and stupidly naive. Like about opening businesses, which you and I have both done, about like just random career goals, about things we've always wanted to do, but we've gone in motivated, enthusiastic, and naively like, but it's what got us through it, because if we had sat there and focused on the fears of
Yeah.
it, we probably would have talked ourselves out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's and yeah, our and me, you, our friends, our good girlfriends,
We're
which
very
are
unique in that way.
very unique. And
Very unique in
like
a lot of ways.
Claire and I have like what we have, what are our four girlfriends. We've
Yeah.
all known each other for 20 plus years, and all just amazing, unique, and motivated and
Yeah.
fearless.
Super fearless. Like,
With,
especially when it comes to trying the new life paths,
yeah, new life paths, the
new
new and
careers.
yes, new careers. And I think that's to me, I feel like that's rare because
It is.
meet a lot of people that aren't are fearful and afraid to try new things because they don't are afraid of what other people think, and afraid of
Right.
fail.
And
Um,
isn't that interesting? Like being so, like, I know you and I have talked about this before, but like the idea of, like, if somebody tells you and I know you can't do that, then everybody better move the fuck out of our way.
yes.
Like, because then we're motivated. Like, well, you might not think I can do this, but now I'm going to fucking do it just to prove you wrong. But also that whole idea about not only being fearless, but I actually feel bad for some people that are in that little cage of like just being guided and steered by just other people's opinions, or like,
Mm-hmm.
that's sad to me. That makes me sad. Like inside, I'm like, oh, kick your butt, girl. Do it.
Do it. Like I know. I just life's so short, and um I want to make the best out of it, and that's why I wanted to do this. These videos was to hopefully help other people become
Yeah.
fearless and challenge themselves to be fearless and do things that scare them and bring them out of their normal, um, because life I think is beautiful that way, and
Mhm.
I feel like doing things that put me out of my comfort zone, I get the most out of them, like
They're the most
the
gratifying.
best experiences, and
Yeah.
out of over doing things that are uncomfortable to me. I that's the thing. I love
Back to the you being cool in the awkward space. You're like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm here.
I like
Here
being
for it.
I want to be uncomfortable because to me that feels like I'm living,
Growth.
yeah, growth. I'm pushing myself constantly to do things, like doing this video, and that's why I'm so glad to do it with you, because yeah, doing it by myself seems so awkward because
Was it
I am not.
inorganic?
Yes, being
Yeah.
organic, and because I don't do a ton of social media, and so videotaping myself just seems so unnatural.
Yeah.
Um, this seems so much more my
Fluid.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can see that. Back to that, what we were talking about too, about the standing still on your path as versus like making steps forward. I think that's really important to me, and it always has been about um like the Hindus believe basically, and I know I've said this to you before, but like the Hindus believe that you can be anything and a Hindu, right? So you can be a Christian Hindu, you can be a Buddhist Hindu, you can be a Satanist Hindu, you can be whatever, right? Because they don't care as long as you pick a fucking path, right?
yeah,
So the
yes,
biggest sin that you can make, basically the biggest um, discredit you can do to life, right? The blessing of life that is given to you in this
mhm,
short amount of time is not choosing a path.
yeah,
They don't give a fuck what it is, but pick a path and move forward. And so the biggest sin that you can do is standing still, not choosing,
I'm not
which
choosing.
is
What is
in and
choosing?
of itself. Yeah, choosing.
Choosing.
That is a choice, like not choosing. Um, which I think a lot of people are like, let this life happen to me. And you see those people like they're victims, right? Like they look
Yes,
like life is always happening to them. Um, they're never the active participant. They're
Yes.
never the catalyst, right? And they're like, oh, this is, everything's happening to them. Their career is happening, their family's happening to them, everything's happening to them. It's never with them, right? Like they're never like, oh, I fucked up. It's
Right.
at
It's,
me.
yeah.
It's all happening at me. Yeah.
I
Those are
mean,
the
not,
people that I look at and I'm like, oh, yikes.
yeah, and that just seems like not a very fun life to live.
No.
Letting life happen to you, because it's not.
Right.
This is your life, and you have a choice not to blame your surroundings. You have the choice to make it what it is.
Right. And
Look,
even on the things that you don't have the choice of how it
right.
is, you
You
are in control of what? Your perception.
of how you feel about making the best out of bad situations. Trying to, I I like to look for the silver lining in things.
Yes.
I'm optimistic, and and I feel like if I was not, this life would be so much harder. And
And just so that we don't come off as preachy, because that is
yeah,
definitely not what we're
no,
trying to fucking
no,
do
no,
here.
no, definitely
We
not.
are both seriously fucking working on this.
Oh my God. Seriously. I
So
go to
this is why we are in therapy
yes.
and why we are
Count,
deeply fucking flawed human beings.
yes, deeply. Not judgy, not at all. Like I get it. I get it. I get why
These
people are
are
like,
aspirations, is to
yes.
see life with always a silver lining, because sometimes we really fucking suck at it.
Yes. I've yes.
And
Yeah,
just recently, both of us have had spans of depression where we had a really fucking hard time getting out of bed, where things were like just not silvery. In fact, they were a muted
yeah,
gray, pea soup of nothing. Boo. So,
yeah.
like,
That's why we're here, is to
which is
talk about that
again
stuff,
why we
because
wanted to do the podcast.
yes, because yes, I suffer with depression, and going through
Yeah.
divorce, and um, what I've done to, I've been on the floor, drank myself stupid a whole weekend away, crying on the ground,
Yeah.
crying in the carpet, like, no, this, yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
pulling myself out, because can't I won't do that, but
Yeah.
been there, and still going through it, and so
Mhm.
we want to help people, through
By
our
sharing
journey,
this. Yeah.
by sharing, like, what we've done to help, to make better of the situation. And I will say that Claire and I, because of my divorce, our friendship has become so amazing these last 2 years. Like,
Yeah. Feel really
she's
blessed.
so blessed to God, I think there's days that I was call you like 4 times, like, just to hear your voice and help me, talk me out of my
Make me
darkness.
cry.
And yeah, just to bounce things off of her, and just to have deeper, more meaningful relationships now from my divorce, with
Yeah.
two of my girlfriends now, has been such a blessing, which is my silver lining for my divorce,
Yeah.
of 18 years together, and
Such a
now
long time.
such a long time, and still getting through it, and having my you to help
It's
me
big.
through it, has helped me. And I can't imagine, I don't know where I would be without our friendship. And so, friendship and
I
counseling.
never hear you when I never get to see you when you say these things. I always get to hear you, and I'm like, just stop it! I'm gonna fucking cry.
I
Okay.
know.
Thanks,
And I,
babe. I love you. I'm so grateful for you too. And I know I've told you this before, but I'll say it again. I am so grateful for our friendship too, because all of these, like all of this adventure with your healing from this breakup and the end of your marriage, but also like reaching back out for girlfriends and support in different ways has helped me in my marriage and my own, just self-awareness, self-growth, all of it. I'm seriously gonna cry. But like, yeah, it's helped me through my stuff too. So it's been
yeah,
super healing for me, Jolie, like really healing.
I know, and you
Hard.
hearing you tell me that too, like it makes my heart happy that hearing that what I've gone through helps you too, to appreciate your marriage and like
Yeah.
and deal with other situations
Be
too.
grateful.
Yeah,
Be
uh,
grateful for having good men in our lives and good partners and good
good
friends and
partner.
that moment. And like just these talks I've had with Jolie about like all of this over the last couple of years have been so incredibly motivating to like, oh, hey, I have not been in good relationships most of my life and not healthy relationships. That's like the understatement of the fucking century. Like super fucking toxic relationships. Abusive, unhealthy, toxic relationships have been
Hmm.
my MO. But this man that I'm married to now is just the most lovely, incredible, kind, caring, generous, just solid person. And so
Yeah,
to like look around and to appreciate that and to be made aware of, hey, you're a pretty good girl. Maybe say thank you since I
yeah,
suffer from minor sexism, reverse sexism. Just a
yeah.
little. I inherited it from my mother, along with so many other charming qualities.
Yes.
Yes. Mom, in case you watch this, I love you.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything. The good hair.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm definitely
Oh,
so
you made me sniffle. I'm just going to be weird and do, oh. I thought of everything else. I did not think of tissues next time.
I
You
brought
made me
tissue.
tear up. Did you? You're so fucking smart, Julie. God. Ugh. It's crazy to me too. So watching you like beautifully, daintily dab your eyelashes because I thought it's just so you saw me like so like I'm just so sad. I love you too. And I wiped it on my cheek. I feel like
You can't mess up these eyelashes,
I
my Aunt
know you're
Dr.
gorgeous,
Kay.
girl. I love
Yeah.
it so much. But watching you do that reminds me too that I was talking with my mom the other day and I was like, so if both of these incredibly beautiful women, like Jolie and one of our other girlfriends just recently are going through divorces or just finished their divorces, if both of these stunningly beautiful women who have like six packs, who go to the gym, who take like insanely good care of themselves, like look at her eyelashes, they're fucking perfect. Anyway, like if they are going through this stuff,
It's
then
not, but
let it
not to,
be known to the universe. This has literally fucking nothing to do with how you fucking look, ladies. Like, this has nothing to do with the outside of you at all. Zip, zero, zilch. Be 100,000 pounds. You could be 20 pounds. Nobody gives a shit. It has no relationship to your relationship at all.
yes.
Nothing.
No,
Everything to do with inside, right? Like your
inside.
relationships. It has
Yeah.
everything to do with you at your core.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And definitely my divorce has put me on the journey of healing my inside
Yeah.
mentally. I've always been physically fit and
Yeah.
very motivated to working out and running and
You're good at
uh,
keeping the outside.
outside. I thought I was doing good on the inside, but to yeah, I think to be honest, around 2000, um, around COVID, everything,
2020. Yeah.
2020. Yeah, 2020. Sorry, not 2000.
We're old. It's cool.
I'm only
Nice.
21.
Yeah.
But I think that's I think that's when my marriage, started falling apart, is because I needed to be able to talk about my fears, and my ex at the time, he didn't want to hear it because he'd see that I get upset, and so he didn't like me seeing me get upset, and so
Mm,
he stopped stopped wanting to talk about anything meaningful anymore. It was just superficial. And
yeah.
so
Let me
that
rephrase. He could not handle the
yes,
emotional capacity of your relationship and where it was going because you and your soul needed growth.
needed growth. Yes.
It
And
needed a little bit more from the situation.
mhm,
A lot
and
more, it turns
a
out.
lot more. A lot
Yeah.
more. Yeah, our paths unfortunately, I wanted
Diverged.
to grow and he wanted to stay.
Hmm.
And that's where he was, and I needed more out of that. I needed a deeper connection, and he was not willing to give that. And so
Yeah.
you and so that was the beginning of our end of our
The beginning of
relationship,
the end,
the
right?
beginning of the end. And never have dealt with depression before. I had to get on medication because I didn't have an outlet. I didn't have my partner to
Yeah.
talk to, and I didn't have we weren't we were close, but not that close at that time. And so I didn't have friends to talk to about this stuff either. Everybody that our friends that were around, they were the same. They didn't want to talk about
They were
anything.
at that point during their journeys as well, is
Yeah.
what you mean. Like
Yeah, they were at that point too.
they weren't
They were
looking for like to spiritually, emotionally expand on their journeys. They're cool with the status quo.
yes, cool
Which,
with
like,
cool.
again, you and I have talked about this, like, no judgment. You and I have both been there too. Like, whoop,
Oh
whoop.
yeah.
Amen
Yeah.
for like not fixing what's broken, right? Or what is
Yes.
not perceived to be broken at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and which is,
Fucking therapy.
which is totally fine.
It just fucks it all up and shows you what's wrong. God
Yes,
damn
and
it.
it does. Well, it gives you, yeah, if you figure out like, oh, this needs work, and I was wanting to do the work. I was
Yeah,
wanting.
I think that that's like the important part of that is that, um, there are definitely moments in my life where I'm like, I don't give a shit that that's broken.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'm good with that, right? Like
Yeah. I'm content right now.
I'm content with that. Like whatever XYZ is, like I'm content with that. Whether it was me being a smoker or a drinker or whatever I was comfortable with at that point during my life, that like now I'm no longer comfortable with here. Um
Yeah.
or emotionally, if you go further than that, like what I was comfortable with having. Um those surface level relationships. Lots of times that has been enough for me at that point, as long as I knew I had a few close connections. I was sort of fine having that with other people. As I get older, I I have less filler time.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
more energy for that, right? I'm like, oh, no, thank you. It's like
Yeah.
my time is valuable. This is what
My,
I have time for. This is what I have fucking energy for. If you don't want to go a little deeper with me, then like we'll just say hi from
yeah.
over here. Like we can have that. Hey girl, relationship.
Yeah. And
But yeah, I don't want to waste my time with those people anymore. But I did at one point. That was totally fine at one point.
yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was that chapter in your life that is totally fine, and I'm at that chapter in my life that I want to be healthy and have healthier, deeper relationships.
Yeah.
Um, and
I
want
think
people
that's
around that have goals um, and want to push you and push each other. And I think that's where I'm at with all of this. I think with the divorce that has led me into this path of having meaningful relationships and pushing
just
myself.
self-discovery. It's so
Yeah.
much like, and the amount of work that you have done has been so insanely thorough, like on all of these different levels. I've seen you like just work on emotional, I mean, mental health, spiritually, like physically,
Hmm.
all of it. You've just tried, you're literally doing a
I've
little bit
tried
of everything. You're
everything.
trying a
Tried
little bit of everything. That's
everything.
all you can do. I mean,
Yeah.
and especially
Trying
like
to
as
see
you try
what
and,
works.
yeah, find your footing again. Like I told you, after I got divorced, I took up swing dancing and like I would have
Yeah.
done, I mean, literally, like anything that would have like snapped me into a new way of looking at the world, a new way of seeing things, anything new. I was
No.
like, I will go down this path. If it doesn't work, I'll try a different path. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
find something that fits.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of at sea and untethered, and I felt like, I mean, you untether yourself literally from someone else in a divorce. And
Hmm.
so you're like looking for something to root yourself to again, to tether yourself to. You're unbound, right? You've untied the knot, literally. Like, so yeah, you're trying to find something again. And what we don't realize is even in that search of like what we're looking for out there, that the search is like part of what tethers us to ourselves again.
Yep.
It's like, and it's one of the sexiest thing I see with men and women walking around is people that have like, they've leaned so into themselves. They're
Yeah.
so inwardly confident, and outwardly confident. And it's not a show. It's just, this is who I am. I'm super okay with this.
They're in
That
align
kind of inner
with
confidence.
themselves. Yeah, they're in align with themselves.
Precisely.
And that,
Precisely.
and,
And
and that has definitely been my journey, is to be in align with myself where I
here,
can
go like this. Your huge boobs are like eking their way out. There you go. I mean, go for it, girl. Take it all off if you
her.
want. Whatever. Amen for boobs. I was like, oh, it's creeping here. Sorry, I should have noticed. Or I should have actually, according to the rule of Jolie, I should have just let it fucking happen. Boob
Let it
out,
happen.
girl.
Don't worry, I have a sports bra on. We're good.
See, unlike Jolie, I cannot. I was like, oh, boob. Tell her immediately. Fuck.
Oh, I did go out. I think I told you I went out a few weekends ago. Yeah. My party night, I went out and I was wearing
You have a
my suit.
wardrobe malfunction?
I'm pretty sure, yes. So I went to I went to the minute market and when yeah, but when I didn't notice. But then when went to get out of my truck, where I was going, I had a nipple hanging out, and I was like, "Well, how long has that fucker been out?"
Girl,
So,
shit.
yeah, there was
Nobody
that.
said anything?
Nobody said anything.
I mean, that's your karma.
I
That's what
know.
that
This
is.
is I'm a stranger. So I would have told a girl, like, girl,
Yeah. Nip.
picture. And then I didn't think that I needed any tape, that double-sided tape that night either, but she stayed in the rest of the night. But I'm pretty sure at the minute market, my nip was hanging out. That's fine,
I mean,
whatever,
I'm pretty sure
whatever.
you made some like
I'm
22-year-old guys just like,
yeah.
dang. He was just like, thank you. I've been here all day filling the slushy machine. Thank you, God. A nipple.
Yeah. Thanks, thanks.
Exactly. He was probably so thrilled. Oh man. Well, let's see. What else? Is there anything else that you want to kind of talk about or touch base on while we're here? Like, what else do you want to talk about? Do you have any crazy irrational fears? I was looking up like some of the best fears in the world, like the top 20 fears.
I
Okay.
don't have any irrational fears.
Right. Well, or rational. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
aerophobia is the fear of heights. No,
Yeah.
acrophobia is the fear of heights. Aerophobia is the fear of flying. So that's like the number one, like most
Really?
common. It's the most common fear.
Okay.
It's like fear of flying. And then acrophobia is the fear of heights. Claustrophobia, obviously, small spaces. None of
I,
these
I
affect you.
I went through fire academy, so crawling through small places with all your equipment, yeah. So
Yeah, that freaks me out. Being in the like not being small spaces, I like start to get short of breath.
I did the very first time I had to go through a building and
I
all my
like just started
equipment.
swallowing hard. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God, I can't breathe just thinking about it, Julie.
I came back out of the building and the trainer at the time I think I was his reaction to me coming out. I after that time I became the best person going through the small spaces after
What
that
was
because
his reaction?
it was like, well, I was the only girl out of, I think there was like 20 plus men, and I was in my early 30s and they're all 21, 26 maybe. And so he's like,
Children.
I just felt like, though, like, oh, you're a woman, like, whatever, yeah, this is gonna happen. And so then it was like, okay, my goal is to um
Fucking prove you
I'm going
wrong.
to conquer this. And I did. And I became the best at going through all those mazes, with can't see all your
Shut
gear.
up.
Yeah. So yeah, no, small spaces don't scare me anymore.
Uh, dude. So was his reaction then doubting you?
Yes, doubt.
He thought you
Yes.
couldn't do it?
Yeah. So
Oh,
doubt.
that would have
Yeah.
fucking motivated me too. I would have been like, I fucking hate small spaces and I'm gonna fucking power through this just to prove you wrong,
Yes.
asshole.
Yes.
Oh, was it like on his face or did he say something?
It was just on his face. Yeah, I could just see like, but he was not the normal instructor that was there. So,
Right.
but his just seeing that, like, I was like,
That
oh
look.
hell no, hell
It's that
no.
look. I know that look.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh hell no. So no, I ended up. I had the best time going through that academy, the fire academy. It was so hard, so physical, mentally, physically, and it was just fucking amazing. It was like one of the best times.
You're so impressive. That's crazy to me. Do you think question really fast. In that circumstance in particular, did that guy ever validate you?
No, he was just like an instructor on
But he
that
never was
scenario.
like, "Oh my God, good job."
But everybody else in that
No?
class was amazing. All the other instructors after, they were all
No,
amazing.
I'm not trying to talk shit on him. I was saying like but did he ever say good job to you or anything like that? Did you ever get
No, because he
external?
never came back after that
Gotcha.
scenario.
Gotcha. But even in
So
that scenario, he
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
That,
Because I didn't do that. I didn't finish that scenario that day.
Mhm.
But after that day, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you think that you're like, because I can see it on your face even now, like that sense of accomplishment? Do
Oh
you
my
think
god,
it was like not only because, do you think you got more of a sense of accomplishment because he doubted you?
I do, and
Yeah.
I do, and just to prove to myself, like, it's, why am I letting this scare me? Like, I there was, I didn't see a reason to be
Right.
afraid. Just
So you talk to yourself through it.
yes, mentally, yeah. I talked myself out of it. Like, what? So yeah, no, that was such an amazing
Mm.
thing to go through, and those all the challenges through that
And
academy
those
were
20-year-old guys, oh my God.
I know. And to be the only female in there too was amazing. That
Yeah,
was
I mean, even being the only girl in that class would have been like, oh my God. Just because, like, for me, I would be like, well, now I fucking have to do this because I'm the only girl here and I'm not going to be a statistic. And then, like, the second part of me would be like, oh, they're so much younger than me. I have to do this now. And
oh,
then
but
a doubting man in front of me, I would have been like, move. I'm going to finish this so fucking fast. Get out of my way. Like,
but
ah.
I just I loved having that challenge. Like I am not I men I will always try to outbeat women. I am not. I don't.
You're a
Um,
cheerleader for other
yes, I'm a
women.
cheerleader for women. Men, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh hell yeah, let's do
Get out
this.
of my way,
But
bitch.
yeah, I want to prove that I can freaking do this. Women,
Yeah.
no, I'm like, come on, girl, we got this
We
together.
got this. I know
Yeah,
you've done that to me. That's why I know that. Well,
yes.
I remember rafting one really hard day with Jolie, and we were in like Hell's Gate Canyon, and we had Brittany was late as always, and we had set off way too late, and our oars, we were whitewater rafting, and our oars had basically turned into sails. And I remember my arms just being jello, and I remember you being like, you were not like, oh my God, you wimp. You were like, girl, you got this. Come on. And we like powered through it. I've never been more exhausted than at the end of that day. I remember paddling for like 4 hours solid. Like at one point my raft was moving upstream.
Yeah, that part of the river sucks.
It was truly hell. And I remember being like, I am going to fucking die. But yeah, I remember you talking me through it, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can continue. Like my arms were gonna give out. Like it was purely mind over matter. There was no reason
Oh
my
yeah.
kinky ass arms should have carried on that trip. Like,
it, it
you
is
got
that's
this, Rita. You don't got this. I'm gonna die.
and it's so nice to have that cheerleader with you, you know? Like, come on,
Yeah.
girl, we got this. No, we can do this.
Yeah. And so that's really interesting to me because, like, one of the things that I feel has failed in some of our past relationships with men, and it's so crazy because our relationships with women are all cheerleaders. Like, all of us are
Yeah,
cheerleaders for
all
each
of
other.
us.
Never would you hear any of us doubt the other person on anything that they set their mind to. We're all like, of course you can do that. You want to open a
Yeah,
business? You do that. You want to be an artist? You do that. You want to do
yeah,
this? You do that. You want to be a fireman? You do that. You want to be a correctional officer? You do that. Whatever you want to do, we got you
we
100%.
got this.
And yet, some of the men that we've been with have been fully doubtful of our abilities. So
Fully.
I wonder, like, what thing that is inside of us that we need to face that it says, I would never treat a friend like this. I would never allow one of my girlfriends to doubt themselves. I would never like feed that doubt, that even seed of doubt for a second. So I wonder what it is that seeks out a partner that wouldn't believe in us.
I know.
What do you
What the
think it
heck?
is? Do you think it's fear? Do you think it is like, do you think it's a worthiness aspect? Like thinking that maybe we aren't good enough, that we aren't,
That we seek out men that
yeah,
don't
that
support
wouldn't
us?
support us. Do you think it comes from an inner fear
No.
then?
I don't know why we seek out those why
Yeah.
have those men that don't support
I know because I've been with those guys before, and
right.
I think at first I might have thought, okay, it's a challenge, right? Like I will prove them wrong. Just watch me go. And then they're going to be
Yeah,
so amazed and blown away by me that they're just going to be even more in love
they're
with me than
not.
they were before. But no, it's because those people are never outwardly impressed. I know I've impressed those guys. I know I have. I know
Mm-hmm.
I've proven them wrong 6 ways to Sunday. In every which way that they've ever doubted me, I've proven all of those people wrong. But
But
I've still thought them out.
well, and I right. Well, and I think maybe that's because we're doing things that scare we're going out of our comfort zone, and they
They
would never
wouldn't.
do that. They're comfortable where they are, and they don't
I
they
like
don't
this. Let's shift blame on them. It's
yeah,
their inadequacies. It is,
it
though. It
is.
is their
It
inadequacies.
is.
I agree with
Yeah,
that, actually.
it is. But yeah, I don't know
Why we wouldn't seek out
what.
somebody who's incredibly supportive.
But I didn't see Dick being that way when at first he
We're
wasn't
going to
that way.
refer to him as Dick, Jolie's
Yeah.
ex, just for everybody who may listen to this.
Friends know
It's
who he is, but
it's super fucking appropriate on every level.
but we did Dick and I did have a really good relationship for a long time.
He did.
But
But one
but
of the things that lacked, and I will talk about this since I know that you guys, you still foster a good relationship there. I will say that I saw him doubt you and how uncomfortable that made me feel as your cheerleader of a friend. And how I often wondered, because I have dated those people too. And the shock and surprise, like, well, maybe we sought those people out because we knew they would motivate us.
yeah,
Maybe it was a blend of not being motivated and or wanting extra motivation, knowing that when they doubted us, we would go for it
would be
harder.
motivated. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I told you, like my husband knows now that if I say, oh my God, let's move to Italy next week, if he says, okay, let's go, the ADHD will kick in and then I will get distracted by something else. However, if he said, no, we're not moving to Italy, we would be on a fucking plane next week. That's who I am. So, like, if he doubted that we could move to Italy next week, I would make it my life's goal to prove him wrong.
Yes. And I love that he has learned
He
that
has learned.
that your
It's
ADHD
so
will
much smarter for him to just say, yeah, that sounds great.
and let you do
Do it.
it and
And
let
then
you go down.
I go and say, oh my God, I've researched it. And turns out it's so many, like 50,000 other steps. So
Right, and I love that he lets you go down your rabbit holes, and is
he
so
encourages them. Yeah, now he
yeah.
encourages them. And he actually appreciates them, which is the new thing about this partner, right? Is somebody who I never feel unloved by him ever. I never feel it. I felt like I was an obligation to ex-partners, that I was somehow an embarrassment to ex-partners. I have felt not good enough in so many ways to ex-partners, and I do not feel that way in this relationship. I never feel like I'm an embarrassment, an obligation, or unworthy.
He loves you and who you are, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
when you get in
lucky.
a relationship. That's my next one. I want that to be love me for who I am, and
Yeah,
that I want to live and explore and do new things and try new things.
yeah.
Unfortunately, my ex told me that I was I never finished things. He said that I never finished things, which is so
Fucking
mind.
stupid. There is literally, and we have talked about this so many times, like, what is it that you did not finish? I would
Yeah,
really like to know.
yeah. There's everything that I said that I was going to finish, I did. So yeah, that I don't understand. Yeah, I finished the fire academy.
She wanted
I
to be a
got
fireman. She went to the fire academy. She wanted to be a police officer or corrections officer. So she went and did that. What else? You wanted to be like do eyelashes. So you went and did that. Like, can we talk about three like completely? And she owned a food stand, like a bento stand. So like these are so completely different. All of these. I'm gonna do eyelashes. So you okay? Something with beauty. something in food service, and then what, like corrections officer, fireman. Like these are so completely crazy different paths. Like just insane, like just so differently, insanely different. Like to most people, that would be so scary to do one of those changes. Like that's something to commend you for, like the bravery to try something new, let alone to like be like, oh, I'm gonna go get certified to do this and then
Right.
do it.
And that,
Like
and
what was it? I'm so sorry. What didn't you finish? It's insane. It's fucking stupid.
so that, yeah, he
Dick.
definitely, I think that's because he, I don't know what his true thoughts are, but I don't know that maybe it was because I will he was comfortable in his position where he was, and he thought that I should just stay and one like with our food stand. It made money. Like, why
Yeah.
would I want to do anything else? Well, because we can, because we can have the food stand and have it run, and I could still
Right.
go try these new things.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I like to be challenged and do new things.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
and also like the the identifying of who we are, right? Through our profession. Um, like that is a lot of people like start only defining themselves through that. Like, and I
Mhm.
think that one of the like key part of our girlfriends in particular is that we know that because of so many of our past jobs, that these do not define us. They're just what we are doing to make money.
Uh-huh.
This renewable resource of money, right? Like so like it's just one of many things about us, but it is not who we are.
Who we are. Mhm.
It's one of the things we do,
Yeah.
which is really interesting because I feel like when you do start identifying yourself as your profession, not only do you lose sight of like the 50,000 other things that you are, but you limit yourself to that definition only, right? So like
Mhm.
if I'm only I mean, it's even that sentence, I'm just
Yeah. I'm just yeah.
I'm only
Um,
no, you're not. Like you're 50 other things, like your sister, your mother, your daughter, whatever, all the things that you are. So yeah, like it'd be like so it just puts you in such a tiny, tiny, tiny little box.
mhm.
Like it's so limiting. It's such a cage that you're in with that definition that you don't even get to see the outside world because that's the only lens you get to see it through is food service worker. Like, like how
Yeah.
crazy is that? Or, I'm only this. I'm only going to be a fireman. So I'm so sorry. You only see the world through that lens. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's such a small little lens to see the world through. Whereas, like, if you open it up and you say, I'm all of these things, I'm all the things, right?
I'm
Like,
all the things.
all the things, like, I'm all of it. So if you're all of the things, then you get to see the world through all of those lenses. And that's far less limiting and yet less things to be afraid of.
Yes, less things to be afraid of.
It is
Yeah.
though, like you
Mhm.
just don't have to be afraid of of only being seen as food service worker, as fireman, as whatever. Like that's it, right? So yeah, incredibly intriguing. Well, okay, so I think now's a good time to wrap it up because my throat's
Yeah.
getting hoarse and I'm getting hungry.
Me too.
Start of my life. What's to eat? Let's go eat.
Yes.
And just to wrap it up, I wish I could go eat with Jolie. She is based out of Oregon and I'm in Montana. And then I wanted to have you ask the viewers, for any listeners or viewers, ask them a question that they can send a response to. If any of you guys want to tell us about your fears, is there any fear in particular you want to ask about? Like,
Me?
yeah, yeah.
Ask the
Do you want to
viewers.
ask? Yeah.
I just any fear. What is your if send in your fear, what is your fear?
Yeah.
What are you
We
afraid
want to
of?
know. We want to hear either your fears about how you face them, how you're not facing them, because that's
Yes.
always good too. And we relate to that a lot. there's shit we don't want to face and we're not working on right now because fuck it. We're not. And life isn't always just like the work. Sometimes it's just like not addressing it. Sometimes it's like, no, I need a fucking break from self-help, from working. I'm fucking fine with being a mess over here today. Like, so you can tell us how you're not facing your fears, and how you are facing them, and what is insurmountable right now to you, and what you've just overcome. We want to hear all of those things. And you can write to the email fearlessjolie, FEARLESS, Jolie, JOLIE, at gmail.com. And you can find us on YouTube at Fearless Jolie. And if you want to support the Patreon, which we would gladly take, welcome, and thank the universe for your support, patreon.com at Fearless Jolie. And yeah, I think this was so good for a first episode. I'm super proud of you for facing your fears, Jolie, and I'm proud of me for facing this. I'm so grateful for your friendship and love, and thank you everybody for listening in, and yeah, we'll talk to you next. Thanks guys. Have a great one.